Good morning, dear students. My name is Rajasar and I will be teaching you Maths 2 in class 5. I will start from the chapter Fraction, which is in your page 59 of your Maths textbook. The front part, that is other, that is number systems, etc., will be taught by Miss Rina, and the latter part, that is starting from fractions, decimals, etc., will be taught by me as Math 2. Math 2. So without wasting time, let's start with the fractions. It is in page number 59. Page number 59. Now what is fractions? Fraction, first let us try to understand with the help of a diagram. This is a whole diagram of, let us say it is a cake. Whole cake. Okay, so this can be termed as a cake 1. That is whole cake. That means 1. And if I divide it into two parts, then let us mark 1 you gave it to your brother, and another one you gave it for yourself. Thus, how much part of the cake is taken by your brother? It is, there are two parts of the cake, so 2, and how many your brother took? 1. So 1 by 2, and this is known as a fraction. Now in fractions, okay, so when we go to the definition, now what is fraction? When an object is divided into a number Dear students, what is fraction? When an object is divided into a number of equal parts, then a part of the object each termed as fraction. I already gave you the example of a cake. When you cut it into two equal half and one half you gave it to your brother, then the fraction of this cake that you gave to your brother is 1 by 2. You cut a cake into two equal parts and out of it, one half you gave it to your brother. So the fraction of the cake that your brother got will be 1 by 2. Now there are two numbers in this fraction, the upper one and the lower one. The upper number is known as numerator, well, the lower one, it is known as denominator. So the upper one is known as numerator and the lower one is known as denominator. Moving on to the next part of the fraction. Next part of the fraction, we will learn about the types of fractions. Types of fraction. Number 1, proper fraction. Dear students, what is proper fraction? Proper fraction is a fraction that has the numerator smaller than the denominator. In proper fraction, the numerator is always smaller than denominator. For example, 3 by 8. In this case, numerator, that is upper one, 3, is less than 8. Therefore, it is known as proper fraction. Numerator is always smaller than the denominator. 4 by 7. It is also an improper fraction. 3 by 9. All of these are improper fraction. Proper fraction. Now moving on to the next type of fraction, it is known as improper fraction. What is improper fraction? Improper fraction are those fractions in which the numerator is greater than denominator. For example, 24 by 8. In this case, numerator is greater than the denominator. Therefore, this type of fraction is known as improper fraction. For example, 7 by 3, 5 by 2. All of these are the example of improper fractions. Moving on to the next type of fraction, it is known as mixed fractions. Mixed fraction, it is a combination of whole number. It is a combination of whole number and a proper fraction. We learned about the proper fraction. Proper fraction is a fraction in which the numerator is always smaller than the denominator. So, in this case, it is a combination of whole number and a proper fraction. So, let us say, example, 1 is a whole number and the combination of proper fraction 3 by 8. So, this type of fraction is known as mixed fraction, where you get whole number as well as the fraction. Another example, 2, 3 by 7. This is also the mixed fraction. It is known as mixed fraction. Why? Because there is a whole number accompanied by the proper fraction. This is number 3. Number 4, like fraction. So what are like fraction? Like fraction are those fractions. Like fractions are those with same denominator. Fractions with the same denominator are known as like fractions. Example, 2 by 8, 3 by 8, 7 by 8. All of these are known as like fractions. Why? Because the denominators are same, that is 8. Another example may be 4 by 3, 1 by 3, 7 by 3. In this case also, all the denominators are same. Therefore, they are known as like fractions. Moving on to the next part, that is unlike fractions. Unlike fractions are those which have different denominators. Unlike fractions are those which have the different denominators. For example, 2 by 7, 3 by 5, 4 by 2. All of these are the example of unlike fractions. Why? Because the denominator in here are different, 7, 5 and 2. That is the reason why they are known as unlike fractions. The next type of fractions is unit fraction. What are unit fractions? Unit fractions are those fractions with the numerator 1. All the fractions whose numerator is 1, they are known as unit fraction. For example, 1 by 8, 1 by 3, 1 by 7, 1 by 11. Whatever the denominator is, it does not matter. But if the numerator is 1, then those type of fractions are known as unit fractions. Finally, we will talk about the equivalent fractions. Equivalent fractions. Now, what is equivalent fractions? Fractions that represent the same part. Fractions that represent the same part as a whole. I will explain to you. As a whole are said to be equivalent fraction. Are said to be equivalent fractions. For example, 5 by 10, 1 by 2, 3 by 6 are the example of equivalent fractions. Why? Because 5 by 10, if you divide with 5, 5 ones are 5, 5 twos are 10, ultimately the fraction is 1 by 2. If you look at another fraction, that is 3 by 6, and if you divide with 3, 3 ones are 3 and 3 twos are 6, it is equal to 1 by 2. Ultimately, either it is 5 by 10, 1 by 2 or 3 by 6, the resultant fraction is 1 by 2. Thus, these type of fractions are known as equivalent fractions. Okay class, we will start with the revision, which is in page number 61. Question number 1. Now question 1 states that find equivalent fractions. Okay, it states that find the equivalent fraction of each of the following fractions using multiplication. By using multiplication, you need to find the equivalent fraction of the given fraction. For example, in A, it is given as 1 by 5. 1 by 5. Now, how do you find the equivalent fractions? It is simple. You just need it to multiply with the same number. You just need to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the same number by the process of multiplication. So 1 by 5 into 2 and 1 by 5 into 2 will give you 2 ones are 2, 2 fives are 10. Okay. So you can also find another equivalent fraction. Again multiply with 2. Again multiply with 2. You will get 2 twos are 4 and 2 tens are 20. So the equivalent fraction of 1 by 5 is 2 by 10, 4 by 20, and you can get numerous equivalent fractions by multiplying with 2. Just need to be sure. I will give you another example, and rest you can do it as your homework. 3 by 4. Again, I will multiply it with 3 by 3. Remember one thing, when you multiply, both the numbers should be same. So in this case, 3 into 3 will 9, 4 into 3, 12. Again, 9 by 12 can be multiplied by 3 by 3. So 9 3s are 27 and 12 3s are 36. So in this case, what is the equivalent fraction of 3 by 4? 3 by 4 will be 9 by 12 and 27 by 36. And in this case, it will go on and on. So citing this example, looking at this example, you need to complete the rest of the sum. Thank you.